Hello everybody, welcome to the walkout. This is plan B for our walkout. We were going to walk out of Revere High at 10 a.m. today, but Revere High is not open today, so we are meeting here on the steps of City Hall. Thank you so much for coming in our wonderful weather. I just wanted to say a few things before my colleagues start speaking. So, as everybody here knows, and I know you know that because you're here, students and faculty of a high school in Parkland, Florida were gunned down a few weeks ago. This is one of the many school shootings that has sadly happened in America within our lifetimes, and there have been many more before that. It's important that we, as students, are the ones that are speaking up now because we are the ones who are directly affected by these great tragedies. We are not being silenced anymore. We are letting our voices be heard, and we are taking that, whether anybody likes it or doesn't like it. The gun control problem in America has gone on too long. People cling to these pointless war machines for no reason other than to feel stronger. And I think honestly, that is a thing, it should be a thing of the past. So if we as students and our supporters, our faculty and adult supporters help us, we can work to make gun control, the issue behind gun control, a thing of the past. Us in Massachusetts have it pretty good in America. We have the strongest gun control laws in the nation, but the problem doesn't end there. Just because we don't have to worry about getting our gun control laws changed, that doesn't mean that the rest of the nation doesn't. There are some serious issues here in America, and I think those need to be solved. So us as students, as I've said, are going to make that happen. Thank you for coming, and here's my friend Ava Hawks. Right.
Hello everybody. So I just want to start my speech by saying thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. The voice collectively of the community is what makes us strong, not just the voice of the students, but the voices of parents and the voices of teachers and everybody that we can get involved. So thank you. When reports of the Sandy Hook shooting began blaring on TV, I remember my mother squeezing me so tightly that I thought, I'm more likely to die of this hug than anybody coming into my school with a gun. I remember my mother close to tears when photos of kindergartners faded in and out of our television screen, sad piano music playing behind them. I remember a hanging, heavy, paralyzing sadness in the wake of Sandy Hook. I'm sorry. Parents cried on the news and teachers could barely talk about the issue without seeming like they had the life sucked out of them. I remember all of this in the wake of Sandy Hook, and I also remember that Congress, when introduced to two bills, proposed to enact common sense gun control laws. The 113th Congress shot them down. What we have in America is an epidemic. I won't argue that the Second Amendment is wrong. I hold my private beliefs about the morality of that amendment, but because it has cemented itself in American culture, I see no way of getting rid of it. But the Second Amendment does not universally guarantee the right to own a gun to everybody. Just ask the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. He wrote, speaking on the District Columbia versus Heller case, quote, "Like most rights, the right secured by the Second Amendment is not unlimited. The right is not a right to keep and carry any weapon whatsoever in any manner whatsoever and for whatever purpose. Nothing should be taken to cast doubt on long-standing prohibitions of the possession of firearms by felons and the mentally ill, or laws forbidding the carrying of firearms in sensitive places such as schools and government buildings, or laws imposing conditions and qualifications on the commercial sale of arms." What all of us want here today is not to take away anyone's Second Amendment rights. What we want is to fulfill the words of Justice Scalia and enact common sense gun reform. What we want is a safer world, and for a safer world to exist, we need a stronger system to protect people from the dangers enacted by guns. There were more than 20 calls to the Parkland Police Department, all informing the police department that Nicholas Cruz, the shooter in the Parkland shooting, could be a threat. If someone had done a simple check-in on Cruz's social media, they would have seen that he was mentally unstable and unfit to own and be around guns. Why do we not continuously check in with the owners of such dangerous weapons? These questions, the what ifs, they haunt me as they haunt the parents of mass shooting victims, as they haunt the victims of mass shootings, and as they haunt the survivors of mass shootings. What if the police had taken action in the case of Nicholas Cruz? What if Congress had passed those bills in 2013? Would countless more people be alive today? As students, I think it's safe to say that we, as young people, have had our voices silenced and have been shut up continuously by lawmakers who don't think that we're mature enough to pitch in on any serious issues. We are simply not grown up enough. We don't have the mental fortitude. But I think that now is the time to prove that that is simply incorrect. We have seen time and time again that people can easily obtain guns legally or illegally and go into schools and take our lives, and lawmakers sit and they think and they pray and they do nothing. I think we can all agree that guns don't kill people, people kill people. So why do we not continuously check in with the owners of these deadly weapons? Why? We are so tired of thoughts and prayers. We want action and reform. According to a March 10, 2016 Lancet study, implementing federal universal background checks could reduce firearm deaths by a projected 56.9%. Background checks for ammunition purchases could reduce deaths by a projected 80.7%. And gun identification requirements could reduce gun-related deaths by a projected, 82.5%. Why not enact legislation based off of these projections? Why do lawmakers continue to sit and pray and not take action? Why doesn't Congress listen to the people and take action? Why does the NRA continuously blame every other thing except for the gun, the murder weapon, when someone is shot and killed? We want action, we want reform. Change is overdue. We have the numbers, we have the support, we want gun control, and we want reform. Thank you.
So we forgot to like do a couple steps down, so we like do it.
Okay. Hi everyone, we're going to be performing a poem that's kind of about gun control. Very passionate writer who wrote this. I'm Adejokia Titebi.
I'm Siva Ismail.
I'm Rebecca Villatoro.
All right. 5, 6, 7, 8. The Chambers of a Gun
by Zane Lingua.
A gun has 26 working parts. The length of the barrel,
The speed of the bullet.
And the caliber of the ammunition determines its lethality.
There are 6 chambers in the cylinder. When cocked, the hammer clicks as it locks into place. The trigger requires a precise amount of pressure to fire. The target erupts as the bullet forces entry, opening a door that can't be closed.
an act that cannot be undone. A school shooting has countless working parts. The lengths to which a shooter will go to force entry.
The speed of the response.
And the caliber of the security system determines its lethality. The first shot triggers a lockdown. The fire alarm sounds as chaos erupts and classrooms become deadly and inescapable. The school shooter burns through clips of bullets until police, moving with precision, secure the building, reopening. Closed doors separating the student body into living
and dead.
The
Senate has 100 working parts. The size of the majority,
the length of their term,
and the caliber of the lobbyists determine its productivity.
The massacre of school children triggers debate in the chamber. But while men and women are deadlocked, arguing endlessly behind closed doors, 2 pressure cookers erupt in Boston and force another image of carnage into our minds. We barely notice that the Senate body rejects gun control. The American electorate has 200 million working parts. The size of the tragedy,
the length of the media coverage,
and the caliber of the press photographers determine the level of outrage.
Pressure builds and erupts in shocked headlines, but the firing squad has no trigger to pull. The shooter's last bullet forced entry in a skull, closing the door to why, and leaving only what and a little how, and this is not a question we want to answer. The four chambers of a human heart
are filled with separate desires. For safety,
for freedom,
For power.
for protection.
we are deadlocked in minds that are closed and cannot be reopened.
But a murdered child has no working parts. Its body does not function.
The size of the child at the time of its death determines the length of its coffin.
The coffin is a chamber lined in silk and sorrow.
When the lid is shut, it cannot be reopened.
When will this trigger more than tears?
When will we feel the pressure of hands hammering on the locked doors of our hearts?
As soon as our eyes are dry, we shut them again.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you all for coming. It is now 10:11. The walkout was supposed to end at 10:17, which is 17 minutes after 10 a.m. So we can have a moment of silence now, and yeah, let's have a moment of silence for the lives lost in Parkland, Florida. Thank you. As you feel the grief for these lost souls wash over you, know that it is time to stop. Know that enough is enough, and change is going to be made, and change needs to be made, because we can't have another one of these angels down. Thank you. There you go.
I just have a quick message for anyone watching and for all of you here. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for anyone who wanted to be here and couldn't. As students, we are a small part of the world, but we can make big change. I want to advocate for every student. Everyone has a voice. You just have to find a way to use it. Whether it's being a follower or standing out here in the cold, you're a leader. You can make change. This country wouldn't be the way it is today without passion, without anger, without change. There's nothing stopping us. We just need to make the action. We need to be the next step. We need to be the winning generation. I don't want to see kids on the headlines because of death. I want them to be on the headlines because they're doing amazing things. That should be what our destiny is, not as a hashtag, not as a rest in peace. Our parents shouldn't have to bury us. They should be celebrating us. I want to see that change in the world, and I hope that you all take part in that. Thank you. I think that concludes most of what we prepared in our ceremony, but that doesn't end our fight.
Good morning, everyone. Today is March 14th, and it's Mayor Brian Arrigo here with Police Chief James Gatto and School Superintendent Diane Kelly. And it's a frigid, cold day, a day without school, but one that we are supporting our students regardless. And today is, as I said, March 14th. It is National Walkout Day in support of stopping gun violence. And today's event in front of City Hall, on City Hall steps, really showcased the future of our city and the future of our nation. And we are all here to support them, and we know that our city, our state, and our country is in great hands with active, engaged young folks like the ones we saw today.